Hi boys and girls in grade 1 and 2. Welcome back to music and welcome back to Instruments of the Orchestra. Over the last couple of weeks we've been having a look at the violin and the string family. We've looked at the violin, the viola, the cello and the double bass. I thought this week I'd give you just a couple of facts about stringed instruments. Here's fact number 1. The violin does not have any frets on it. Now these are what frets are. They are the lines that go up the fretboard like that, okay, and you put your finger in between them to make the sounds. So on the guitar, it's different. Listen. You know the different sounds are going to come out when you put your finger in the right spot. However, the violin does not have any lines going up the fretboard. You can see these lines here. What they've done, they've actually painted some lines on the fretboard so that you know roughly where to put your fingers. That's a bit clever, isn't it? Okay, because the violin doesn't have any frets. That means that it's harder. You've got to guess where to put your fingers on the fretboard to make the sounds. Listen. That's kind of what I played before on the guitar, but it wasn't quite right. Okay, because you've got to guess, and that's why the violin is a harder instrument to play than the guitar or the ukulele. Did you know that the bow of the violin actually has horsehair on it? This here is from a tail of a horse. How cool is that? Now, of course, you can buy cheap violins, but you can also buy really expensive violins as well. There's an expensive violin called a Stradivarius violin. Did you know that the Stradivarius violin can cost up to $16 million to buy? Just for a violin, $16 million. That is crazy. Now, we spoke last week about how the violin bow runs over the top of the string to make a sound. The reason why the bow makes the string vibrate, it's because of friction. Okay, and we use this thing here, which is called rosin. Rosin is like a tree sap, and what you do, you scrape the rosin onto the bow, and when you do, it becomes a little bit tacky. When it's tacky, and when it touches the string, it vibrates, like so. Now, I also mentioned last week that the bigger the instrument, the lower the sound. That means an instrument the size of an elephant would be a lot lower than the instrument the size of a mouse, which would be very, very high. And it's the same with instruments that look kind of the same, but maybe one is just a little bit bigger than the other. And it's the same with xylophones, where you've got the smaller bits of wood and the bigger bits of wood on the xylophone. The bigger bits of wood sound lower than the smaller bits of wood. Now, I've done this experiment before, just to show you guys that the bigger the instrument, the lower the sound. What I've done, I've got myself a straw, and I've cut on this side, and I've turned it around, and I've cut on the other side. So I've made myself a bit of a V shape, just like that. Have a look at it. Looks like a duck's beak, doesn't it? Well, if you put that in your mouth and squeeze it down, like so, and blow into it, you get a sound. Like so. Okay, now remember, the bigger the instrument, the lower the sound. Listen to this sound again. Okay, it's quite low, isn't it? But if I get my scissors and if I cut the instrument so it's smaller, the sound should go up. There you go. And the sound is now high. I've given you a few facts about stringed instruments today. What I want you guys to do is think of 3 facts that you can remember from what I've said today, and I want you to write them down for me. 3 different facts about the violin. Activity 2 is a nice easy one. I'm going to clap a couple of rhythms and I want you to clap them back. So for instance, if I was to go, well done. That's it, boys and girls. That's all you need to do for this week. I will see you next week. Bye for now.